Right, good evening everybody. Should we make a start? If I could just ask you to settle down. I know the excitement is building. Very warm welcome to Thornton Parish Council meeting on Tuesday the 5th of March 2024. Just a reminder to everybody to turn off mobile phones if you would please, so there's no unnecessary interruptions. The format of this evening really is the same as usual, in as much as we've got a public session to begin with. Then we'll have the Parish Council meeting, quite a varied agenda this evening. That will conclude with a closed session at the end of the meeting. The closed session really is to discuss matters of a confidential nature, so we'll exclude the public for that. But otherwise, just a general reminder for everybody to please behave themselves. I can see we're being video recorded as per normal. And we'll start off with the public sessions, your opportunity to ask questions of us. Parish Council can't make any decisions this evening, but we have got some options how we deal with your questions, and we will do our very best to answer them this evening. We do ask that they get emailed in advance, but I don't think Jenny's received any public questions for public questions session. So I'll just open it up to the audience. Are there any questions from the public? Yes, madam.
Can you give me any information on the very large barns that have gone up down Longlands Lane?
Longlands Lane?
If you go along Peacelands and turn slightly to the right and keep on going down there.
Okay.
They've got a massive great gate with a very posh sign that says the buildings.
Okay.
Now I've heard rumours, but I don't know whether this is just village cattle or what, but that there's supposed to be a pet cemetery going to be in there. One building does have a chimney, but whether this is just village Chinese whispers or not, I don't know.
Thank you for your question. I'm obviously fairly new to the council, as most of us are. I personally am not aware of what a premises is, but I'll open it up if anybody else is familiar with premises or can answer the question.
I don't think all that many people always go down that way.
I've been down there, and it looks as though it's a sort of pet crematorium.
But then if it is, then why have we heard nothing about it? Basically, we did walk in at one point and a bloke said, "Oh, we're just putting tractors and that in there," but they are massive buildings.
Are they? Yeah.
And also, if you're only putting farm stuff in, why would you have a sign that says the buildings outside, looking quite smart?
Councillor Sanderson had a finger in the air. Janet, are you
I think David just said it is a pet crematorium.
Yeah.
But then how come you don't you have to have some kind of permission if it's a business?
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll look into it for you.
Thank you.
And then we'll bring it back and we'll try and get an answer for you.
Yeah.
So the question is, why didn't villagers...
Yeah. Well, A, is that what it was going to be?
Yeah,
And
so-
then B, if so, surely it's a business.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
then-
think the answer would probably be in the planning consent somewhere along the line. So we'll have a look for you and then report back to you.
Thank
How
you.
does that sound?
Yeah, there is an apostrophe S on buildings, which is wrong as well.
But they are huge. If you've been down there,
I live
huge.
on there, so I know exactly where.
So we need to pick them up on their grammar then.
We definitely need to pick them up.
Any other questions at all for us, please? Anybody?
I have one which I've been
John?
asked to ask on behalf of a resident of the village who wasn't able to get here this evening. It concerns a blocked drain on the corner of basically the New Inn corner,
Yeah.
and there is they feel that there's a blocked road drain, but there's also a leaking drain which appears to be blocked from the New Inn.
There's a blocked drain on Roxbury Road as well.
They get a shower of soapy, greasy water every time the vehicle goes past, and they asked if there was anything we could do about it. So it's between the highways and the New Inn, in my opinion, which is what I passed on, but I did say I would ask the question.
Well, I can add a little bit of information around that because I was approached by the landlord of the new inn about said matter, and I referred him to highways because there is a drain on the road that is completely full of silt and gravel, the inference is that it's highway maintainable. So I've directed him to the North Yorkshire Council website and do a self-reporting process for that drain in the highway. I think the one that the new inn has a pipe into for the discharge of wastewater, that is on the pavement, but it looks like a domestic drain in my view. So again, I've advised the landlord of the new inn to converse with highways to get some idea as to the responsibility of the maintenance of that drain. The one on Roxbury Road, Marguerite,
It's full of leaves, absolutely full of leaves.
is it on the highway?
Yeah.
So that again could be an opportunity just to go on the North Yorkshire Council website, self-report a blocked drain, and they should send an engineer around to come and inspect it and resolve the matter. In terms of what the parish council can do, it's very little really, other than signpost people to the necessary authorities. Any other comments at all on those questions? Yeah.
Just that the parish council should have a parish portal to go direct to the
It's on our list of
highways.
things to do, Janet.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right, any other questions at all?
Or when the cleaning drains out, go around the village and get them all cleaned up, because majority's blocked.
Aye, right, okay, Henry, yeah, good point.
They are.
So perhaps a
It isn't
general
one direct
inspection.
drain, it's all Logic Village.
Leave that with me and I'll,
Do you want request for a road sweeper?
we can do, I think there's
They
a,
tend to do that.
yeah, we can do, yeah, put in a request for a road sweeper and see what the report is. Thank you, Jenny, that would be useful. Any other questions at all? Otherwise I'll just kind of crack on really. No? Okay, well, I formally declare the meeting open. 8 minutes past. We'll move on to the agenda. The first agenda item is to receive apologies, but as we can all see, we have a full complement of parish council members this evening, which is nice to see. A second item on the agenda is to receive any declarations of interest in any items on the agenda.
Yeah, that's me.
John?
Minute 2324126, planning application for St Hilda's, land adjacent to St Hilda's Church. I'm the treasurer of the charity Friends of St Hilda's, so shan't be participating in that item.
Okay, so not necessarily a personal connection, not necessarily a pecuniary advantage, but certainly
It's an interest.
a declaration of interest. Okay, well, the rules around that, I'm sure you know, not to participate in the discussion, and if there's a vote, not to participate in the vote. As simple as. Any others at all? No, thank you. 124 to confirm and sign minutes of an EOM that we had on Friday. They're not quite ready yet, so none of the members of council have had the opportunity to browse through those. So what I'm going to propose is that we defer this agenda item to the next parish council meeting. Just need a seconder for that proposal, please, and then a quick vote. Everyone happy just to postpone? Yeah, thanks very much. We'll bring those back, Jenny. Thank you. 125, to consider and note ongoing matters arising from previous parish council meetings and of course parish council business. The first is to receive an update with regard to the tree policy, please. David, that's you.
Okay, well, I finally got round to doing all the trees. The last parish council meeting, John said that there were ones in the churchyard to do, which I've gone and done those. Not a great deal of problem there. There's some bottery bushes which need hacking about and removing. But apart from that, everything's okay. We have a total of 55 trees to my reckoning in the parish council that we're responsible for. So Yeah, that's about it really. In terms of quotations, I've been away for 2 weeks on holiday, so I'm in the midst of getting some quotations
And that's for the one on the green.
for the one on the green, yeah,
Okay,
which is not mega dangerous, but it wants looking at.
sure. And is that the only one that needs looking
That's
at?
the only one,
Okay,
in my opinion.
yeah. Okay, 55.
So it might be that we can agree to tackle the botry bushes in the churchyard, which I'm quite prepared to do with the help of others. I have a chainsaw licence, I have insurance, the council has insurance, I've got all the PPE gear, etc, etc. So if the council would wish me to do it, then I can do it for nothing.
So in terms of botry bushes, is that I guess just a maintenance thing, is it?
It's literally just like
Upkeep.
chopping them down, just
Make the
yeah,
place look
otherwise
better?
they go like triffids.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no immediate risk to the public?
No,
as
not at all,
such?
not at all. It's just purely a cosmetic job.
Okay. Any other comments on that at all? No. I mean, in terms of the agenda, we had a three-part strategy in relation to trees. The first being mapping,
They've all been mapped.
all being mapped.
Yes, they've all been photographed and they've all been
surveyed was the second.
Survey the second, yeah.
Happy with that. And then the third, maintenance and upkeep, you've identified the one on the green,
Yeah.
which is an ongoing work stream,
Yeah.
and we're just waiting for outstanding quotations. So we'll bring that back, Jenny, I think, just to keep that on the agenda. And then bottery bushes, suggesting that they need some attention.
Need some attention, yeah.
And you're proposing that you undertake that with the
If the
assistance.
council wishes me to,
Okay.
I'll second it.
free of charge,
Okay.
with some help from
Okay.
anybody in the village who wants to help me.
Okay.
I'll give you a hand.
Yeah, I've got a set of overalls.
Yeah.
So-
Right, okay.
Councillor Green then proposes to sort out the bushes, seconded by Rebecca. All those in favour of sorting out the bottery bushes at the churchyard? Show of hands. Okay, and against? And 2 against. Okay. Do you want to make any comment at all about that?
Have you had permission to breathe, sir?
Any
Have you
permission?
had permission to breathe, sir?
Permission to breathe?
Yes, because you'll need permission to breathe where you're working. Thank you.
I don't understand your
I'm not
question.
quite, I don't understand
I
that.
don't understand your question. Do you want to elaborate?
You need to get permission from the church before you can do anything in the churchyard.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, right, well, we can get permission
Oh,
from the church. So
thank you.
not a problem.
Okay, right, gotcha. Okay, well, we'll make sure we get permission before the work is undertaken.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Thank you. Okay, item number B, to receive an update from the community fundraising group. Ah, that's me. So, I can see Denise is here this evening. So we had a meeting on Wednesday the 7th, very well attended again by representatives from different organisations and of course residents and volunteers that want to get involved in this fundraising group. A lot of things were discussed, quite an active meeting, but to summarise, the focus of discussion was really around the proposed duck race that we're going to have in the village on Easter Monday, 1st of April, and the practicalities around putting on such an event. We're still looking for volunteers if anybody wants to get involved in the community fundraising group, because it is an ongoing project, but also we're looking for volunteers if anybody wants to come forward and help with the duck race. Please just make contact with Parish Council and we'll put you in touch with Denise, or of course make direct contact with Denise. But I think we're all right for volunteers with the duck race at the moment. Yeah, we've got some help from the Brownies. Yeah, brilliant. Collection boxes were discussed, the tickets have been produced together with posters, and you might see throughout the village, in other locations, the event being advertised. We've engaged with various social media advertising avenues, and that's been quite successful. You might see a banner appear on the green, and you might see some large wooden advertising ducks appear throughout the village. But overall, it's coming together nicely. That's the sort of message that we want to put across there. We are on track to raise sufficient funds to have the community clock repaired in the church tower. So being on track is a marvellous thing, and we look forward to being able to report back that the money has been raised to get the clock fixed, and we'll get that ticking again, hopefully.
If I can just say, Chairman, we've raised, actually banked £1,764.06
That's great.
to date.
Yeah.
The last cheque was sent in
When's
today.
the next engineer turning up to service the clocks then?
So the engineer was going to turn up to service this clock, and he was going to turn up on a different date to service the church, or the clock in the church that is not working. So Rebecca has been in contact with him, and he is coming to do both at the same time. And I forget when that was, latter part of
Well, when we
April.
get the clock work, we're going to fix the clock
Yep.
and service the clocks.
Going to fix the clock and then
One visit.
At the same
service
time.
both clock in
So
one
one
visit.
visit.
Yeah, which I think is what your point is going to be, Henry.
Has a date been made yet?
Well, no, because the clock's not working.
Yeah, but, I mean, the money is more or less there now. I mean, you know, when we were waiting, I think we've got 2,000 in there anyway, so you could go ahead and even book it.
Well, I can
I
wait.
mean, and it depends, obviously, I mean, if they're really busy, it might be another month, isn't it? So I don't see why you shouldn't book it in, really.
It might be worth having that discussion, although there is some conditions on the bill that once the ball started to roll, I think they wanted a percentage of the
50% fee.
50% of the fee and such like. So
That's it.
You've already got 50%.
yeah, we got 50%. Yeah, yeah,
That
absolutely.
little bit that's short, surely we can put it forward and get it back later.
Yeah.
I've got the rest in cash at home, and up tickets.
Okay, well, we've got another meeting
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Yeah,
so we
just-
can add that
yeah, just
to
thought
the
if you were really
meeting.
busy, then, you know,
give
it might
some-
just say another 6 weeks or something, it's a bit silly,
Yeah.
isn't it?
But other than that,
ASAP.
yeah. Other than that, that is the update with regards to the community fundraising group and the repair to the community clock. Anything from anybody else at all? No?
So do you want me to ring up Smiths?
Well, we'll discuss it at our meeting tomorrow.
Right.
We've got a working group meeting tomorrow. We'll discuss the best way forward, and then we'll come back to you if that's all right. Yeah. You'll have to come back to full council if we're going to spend money on the percentage of the bill anyway, won't it? So we'll have to think about it.
That's not our money, it's their money, so it doesn't come under us.
So the community fundraising group is a working group for parish council, and decisions have to be made by the parish council. The fundraising group don't have the authority to make any decisions in terms of spending money and whatnot. Yeah, it's rules and regulations, Henry. I'm afraid rules and regulations.
Well, could we not tonight propose to agree a date for the work to be done?
Surely.
Surely,
Yeah, I'm just
sure we
thinking
can do
if-
that, otherwise it's
yeah.
going to be another month.
This is what I'm saying, that's what I'm thinking, and if they're really busy, because there's only, you know, then that do it could be even another 6 weeks after that.
Why
so you
don't
can
I
meet
ring
tonight,
up
June.
Smiths tomorrow and find out what availabilities they've got to fix the clock and service both clocks?
Or can we as a council delegate the authority to Rebecca to fix a date?
Yeah.
Can we?
Well, I was going to say it's not really us to dictate to the Smiths of Derby when they're to do it. We would have to find their availability and then
Yeah, well, that can be
and
done for a
book it that
survey.
way. I mean, if you want to propose the motion to delegate that authority to Rebecca,
I would like to.
I'll second it then. Quick vote. Everybody happy for Rebecca to make those inquiries with regards to the clock? That's unanimous then, and that might move things forward a little bit quicker then. mightn't it?
Dan wants to.
Have you got a question about the clock, Sam?
A suggestion, it may be
Go on
too
then.
late, but if it could be fixed before the duck race, it'd be a wonderful way to start the race. The first chime on the clock.
Yeah, good idea.
Wishful thinking, yeah, but
If not, I've got a bell.
suggested.
Not make me sweat before
I think
I'll be sweating.
I think Councillor Heatherton heard the suggestion.
Thanks, Mel.
Well, it's
Okay.
all right, you won't have as many sleepless nights now, because it'll all be over.
Okay, settle down, settle down. I know the idea of the duck race starting and the chime clock's very exciting. So, item number D, moving on, is to receive an update on the bench policy.
What
C.
about C?
Still, have I done C?
No.
I beg your pardon. No, I haven't. C, to receive an update on Parish Council website and email addresses. Jenny, you've done some remarkable work around this, so could you give us an update, please?
Yeah, Phil Mason has launched the new website under the .gov domain, so that's now live. It looks very similar to the obviously old website at the moment. And then the next step really is to decide how you want it to look going forward. We just need to, as a council, agree what work you want doing on the website going forward. But it's now live under the .gov UK domain. If you search under the old email address, it will just divert you seamlessly over to the new one.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant.
Can I just ask a question, Peter? Is that from today? Because I tried to get the agenda from the website and it's still back in December.
It went live
Today?
a couple of days ago.
And could
We
we have
haven't-
to them?
got into uploading the minutes and the agendas yet.
That one.
No, because it still looks like it's fixed at December, the website. When I went on to try and look for an agenda, so I'm just thinking.
It's just because we've not actually loaded any
Right.
new documents on there, whether the old website or the new one. But the new website is live, and to be fair, it's best to load it on the new website, because if we'd have loaded it on the old, it would have been lost in the transition. So it is live. That's the next step really, is to get it loaded up.
You might find out that you've no computers working at this present moment.
And
I'll just answer this question. There's a big hoo-ha and there's nothing working on your computers. Wasn't at 5 o'clock tonight.
It's just some of the social media sites.
So to put it into context, the .org, the original format and domain of the Thornton Parish Council website, has essentially been switched off. However, it will look exactly the same, and when you go into it, our new domain for the website has been set up with a .gov.uk domain site. Now that it's happened for a number of reasons, but the most important reasons are really in as much as having a .gov.uk website offers far much more security, accessibility and usability on this new website. Along with the website come new email addresses for all members of the council, and you will see the next week we're changing our email addresses and that of the clerk to a .gov.uk email address as well, and that's to fall in line with legislation. It's come from central government that all parish councils throughout England and Wales should adopt this .gov.uk domain format, and really in a nutshell we're just sort of coming up to date, aren't we? It does offer us opportunities to update the look of the website, make some changes to what you see on the screen, but how it looks at the moment is a bit of a low priority for the council. We just need to get it up and running. We need to get all the old data transferred across. We need to upload data to bring it up to speed, and of course we need to learn how to use it so we can put minutes and agendas and such like on the website, which we haven't been able to do since November. Now there is a statutory obligation for parish council to advertise the agendas and to publish the minutes, and it's been quite a concern of this parish council that we haven't been able to do that for reasons not of our doing, but through the processes and communications that Jenny's had with the web provider, where we've made some great ends to that. So in short, you really shouldn't see much difference, all being well. Touch wood, fingers crossed. Thank you, Jenny. Any other comments at all with regards to the website and email addresses? No? Thank you. D, bench policy. This is again for yourself, is it, Jenny? I know that we have removed some benches. 2 went from outside the almshouses due to poor repair. 1 went from Beck Isle, and 1 recently went from the road on Ellerburn, and there was 1 outside the church, Ellerburn Church, which has been assessed that is repairable. So what we're doing is, we've introduced, you probably remember, September, October time, we introduced a brand new bench policy for the council because we didn't have one. Essentially, it entitles the council to remove benches that pose a risk to the public. We don't want people sitting on them and then given away and people hurting their back. But we're keeping the old benches and we're taking the wood off to repair others that we can. That's essentially the setup. Brass plaques are being removed and kept. We've had 1 family request to replace a bench, and I think we've had another request to have a new bench sited somewhere, if I'm right. But that's it in a nutshell. Anything to add to that at all?
We do have a new bench up by the allotments.
Now that was a separate. That came under a separate.
Yeah.
Came under a separate licence agreement with highways,
That
but
goes under highways, not under
Yeah.
roads.
yeah, that's right. It did. Yeah,
Nothing to do with parish.
yeah. But now it's been installed, it will come under the parish council. It's just that there's no cost implication for us. Yeah, is it about benches,
It is about
Denise?
benches, which I
Okay.
have mentioned. If there is room for 1 near the almshouses, Crafty Hubbers have got some money that they'd like to
Okay.
give it to the village. But
Yeah.
they do want it near the almshouses because we do a lot with the almshouses, people and they don't would like
Okay.
it
The,
there. But that's, sorry? Yeah, but I think the
Your one's
same
been
one,
filled
yeah.
by
But if
family.
the other one isn't, then the Crafty Hubbers have some.
the difficulty we
Funds
have
that they'd like.
historically, parish council haven't kept records of ownership for
Yeah,
the
I get
benches.
that, yeah.
So we haven't been able to contact people and families, bearing in mind that these are memorial benches. We haven't been able to contact people to say, look, we've removed your bench. So we have to really give some thought to people coming forward and saying, oh, me mum or me nan's bench is gone, where's it gone? And we then have to be able to explain to them where it's gone, but give them the opportunity to replace it. If someone else has put a bench there and, you know, without, it's a difficult situation, but parish council, I don't think this is the only parish council, but we just
Well, the
don't
offer
keep
is there.
records.
If the
Thank
one of
you.
the almshouses
No, I
doesn't, then
appreciate it.
Crafty Hubbers will.
I appreciate it. But the bench policy was considered and resolved quite some time ago, and it's proving to be effective now. We've got a document that we can refer to. And any new applications, the applicant will receive a copy of the new bench policy, and there is a form there with their details so that at least we can keep contact details for 10 years.
I think the only thing possibly outstanding is we've no preferred list of suppliers
Right,
for the
yeah,
benches.
yeah.
Nobody seems to know where that is. And we've
I
got a
think we
family
probably know
outstanding.
where it is, but we can't get to it. Preferred supplier of benches, Henry?
Well, preferred supplier, I mean, there has been one man doing it for years,
Yeah.
but as you go into Pickering and you go near the library, there's 2 or 3 plastic ones there, exactly to the details of the wood ones,
Mm-hmm.
which will be no maintenance, no nothing.
And that's in Pickering?
That's in Pickering. There's one in the marketplace outside Boatses,
Mm-hmm.
definitely one there, where the telephone box was near the toilets,
Yeah.
down there.
I did ask National Parks and they said no to plastic, no.
Did
It was
they?
a big one, yeah, because I thought the same.
Oh.
And they said they preferred tailors and big cutters.
Tailors.
Mm.
Okay. You get that, Jenny? Yeah.
But you might have better look than me, because they told me that Pickering's not actually in the national park where they are, so it's not that they would pay.
Yeah, but Thornleydale, plastic, yeah, I heard you, gotcha. Any other comments at all about the bench policy?
I did ask Gil yesterday.
Okay, I'll move on now, Denise, thank you. E, to receive an update from Finance Committee on tenders. David, that's you again.
Yeah, I mean, tenders have gone out for grass cutting, caretaking, etc. And I think we've had, Jenny, we've had 1 or 2 come in already.
Yeah.
But other than that, until they come in, obviously can't really comment much more. And the deadline date's what, the 8th, 11th? Yeah.
11th March.
Okay, right, thank you. Anything else, anything further from anybody? No? F, to receive an update on the village parish newsletter. Okay, so this is a request that we've received from Claire Old, who is the new editor of Community Newsletter, seeking views and opinions of Parish Council as to whether or not we would wish to.
It's not on there, is that?
It's not on there now, I just had a quick look. Would wish to make use of said newsletter, which I think would involve just writing an article with or without photographs in the region of 200, 250 words, published every quarter.
6 months.
Every 6 months. Just thoughts and comments on the community newsletter, please. From the council members, I've done enough talking. Anybody got any views on contributing to the newsletter?
I think it's a brilliant idea.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what I'll contribute, but certainly I will give it some thought.
Mm-hmm.
And if there is something relevant, then I'll certainly pass it on to Claire. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, good idea.
Well, that was easy. Adrian.
Can I make a comment? So this idea has been kicking around a bit. This is the Hub's community newsletter. It's the only thing that goes out to every house in the village regularly. So if you want a vehicle to tell the village in hard copy what the parish council are doing, this is your chance. It's not going to cost you anything, but you've got to write some words to tell people what to do. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yep, thank you. I like the idea of no cost.
Costs.
Can I ask when the next edition is published?
March the 18th, I think,
That's
is
the
the
deadline. Well,
deadline.
The deadline is the 18th of
Yeah.
March.
Yeah, but I'll email you, John.
Okay, thank you very much.
What's the deadline for receiving submissions, Claire? 18th March. 18th, yeah.
So my views are really that this parish council are doing a lot of good stuff. We want to engage with as many residents as possible, and as Adrian says, it is a vehicle to not only engage but also promote what we're doing. You take something like the community fundraising group, it's just a great vehicle to reach those that are perhaps not using social media and those that are perhaps not using the internet or computer savvy. When you look at the demographic of the village here and at Dalby, then does it get delivered to Dalby? And to be able to go through the door once every 6 months, I think is quite a valuable thing. In terms of who would write what, well, I'm quite handy waffling on, and I'm sure I could do the same on paper, so I don't mind writing something. But we do make regular pleas for residents and those that are motivated to get involved. We've got things on the horizon that we want to do. Things like parish plan or the village upkeep and maintenance working group. There's a lot of opportunities for people to get involved, but also it's a way of allowing people to have a good old moan at us, because, well, what does a parish council do? We don't do anything, do we? So I'm going to propose a motion. I think John and I are got some positive sort of feels about it. I'll propose the motion that we accept the said offer. Just need a seconder, please. David, happy to second? So just wait for things to settle down. There's some chairs at this end if you want to grab a chair. So all in favour of accepting the offer to engage and to make a contribution to the community newsletter?
Yep.
Marguerite, yes, so that's unanimous then, thank you. Thank you, Adrian, thank you, Claire. Okay, item agenda number 126 is to consider new planning applications or previous applications, decisions or an update. The first is reference 0095, refers to land adjacent to St Hilda's Churchyard at Ellerburn. Quite an interesting planning application. You couldn't get into it? Well, I did. Yeah, essentially it's a change of use of land on the corner of the St Hilda's plot, and the change of use is from agricultural to burial. Yeah, thank goodness it's not the other way round, eh? So, I know, John, you can't participate, but have you all had a chance to look at it at all?
I've seen it,
yeah. Personally, I have no comments to make, but I will open it up to see if anybody else has got any comments at all. If not, we'll just...
Is that the field?
Yeah, it is.
Is that the field that was sold about 2 years ago?
I don't know about that, but...
Nothing's done. What the hell did they do, sell it and then wanted it back?
Yeah, it wasn't quite like that. It was already owned by the church. So they didn't actually sell that piece of land.
Oh, they didn't sell that particular part?
Yeah, and I think for that reasons, unless you've got any strong feelings, there's no need to raise any objections. I mean, no, but it's just a planning that you don't often see.
Taking bookings now.
Taking bookings now, thank you, John. Thank you. In terms of update and decisions, Jenny's very kindly listed the planning applications that we discussed at the last parish council meeting, and I think 2 have been approved and 2, well, they've all been approved, 2 with conditions and 2 without. So that's just really to note. Parish council really have nothing more to do with regards to that. Okay, item 127, to receive and consider matters raised by the parish clerk, RFO. A is to receive a current bank balance. David, do you want to go first? Or shall
I can tell you the Virgin Money account has £11,553.56 to date.
Did you get that, Jenny? Yeah.
The Barclays account, you have access to that.
So 2 Barclays accounts. The community account is 16,963.67. The last transaction was on the 8th of November 2023. And then the business account is 42,290.14. And the last transaction was the 4th of March 24.
And that will be interest.
Interest, yeah. Okay. So that's the current bank balance. B, to note and consider bank mandate status and any actions required. Previous parish council meeting, we were talking about bank accounts and the best way forward. Out of that was an action for me to contact Barclays and get a mandate that allowed all councillors to go on, and I have received that. Liaised with Barclays business mandate update team. They've sent the form through, so what I shall do is circulate it, starting with Jenny, who's the clerk, and the RFO to sign up, and then we'll try and all get on to the Barclays accounts. At the moment, it's just myself and John, isn't it, that have admin rights to those bank accounts. Then I'll probably keep this on, Jenny, and bring it back, because there is a need for the council to consider actions required in relation to the bank accounts. Do we really need 3? Would 1 be better, or 2, and then who with, and what way we're going to use them? and we'll probably have to link in with the internal auditor anyway, won't we, somewhere along the lines. And most certainly a finance committee. Maybe it could be one for the finance committee. Yeah, that's what we could do. We can delegate that to the finance committee to do a piece of work. In fact, I'm going to propose that motion now, actually, to have the finance committee look at our banking situation and the way forward.
We did look at Virgin though, didn't we? And we couldn't do anything with
We
it.
can't do anything at the moment, no. All we can do is clear the account and continue with Barclays, but there's one obstacle in our way.
I thought there was 2 people that could do it. I thought Councillor Markham had authorisation.
On the Virgin
On the
account.
Virgin.
Don't know, Marguerite, do you know? Can you answer that?
I am on there, but I cannot access it.
Right. So again, that's just a stumbling block really, isn't it? But of course we need to have the safeguards as well, with the double signatures, and we want online banking of course, and we want Jenny to have that full access. So just need a seconder there for that motion then, for Finance Committee to take it on.
Yep.
Thank you, John. All those in favour, please? That's everybody. Thank you. You are chair of the finance, aren't you?
I'm chair of the
You can get that
finance,
wrong. Yeah.
And tree cutter.
Well, there you are. There's a bit of work for you to
Bit of
do.
work for me to
Stay
do.
with looking at trees all
That's
day.
it.
Okay, thank you. C, to consider payments for approval, Jenny. I'm aware of the website.
The website,
Yeah, that's just coming today.
Shall we start with that one?
Mhm.
So the work, considering that it was a lot of work to be done with the website and the ongoing package that comes with it, the invoice is for £369, which I thought was pretty good. I'm aware that other parish councils in this area have adopted the same process, so whether that cost has been brought down because of that, I don't know. But anyway, the invoice for the website is £369, and I propose that we approve that payment. Just need a seconder for that, and then in favour. Yeah, thank you. That's everybody.
Bunting's came through again.
Mm.
You got that?
Yeah. £21.
Laptop.
Shall we do Buntings? Buntings is a regular waste disposal, isn't it? For
Monthly one.
monthly
Yeah.
Yeah,
for the cemetery,
yeah.
£21. Propose we accept that. Seconded. All in favour? Splendid. Laptop.
Laptop was £430.
So the laptop was done through the finance regs 4.1 with the expenditure and revenue item slip, and you're just bringing it £430. That laptop is for the sole use of the new permanent clerk, and is a piece of equipment that we as an employer are responsible for providing to allow the clerk to undertake her duties. So I propose that is... Sorry, you got something to say?
I just wanted to know why we can't use the old one.
Well, I think you know why.
They can't use the old one because Mr Barrett would not pay Carrie to bring it through, and it's a brand new computer.
You state it's a brand new computer.
It's still in its bloody box and it's got nothing on it.
You state it's brand new, but why did she buy it in January 23 and not use it?
It wasn't used. I don't know why it wasn't used.
And we still have the one that you handed over from Sandra Bell.
Yes, that was put in Mr Alber's car and then given to, yes, it's gone. Carrie had that way back in September.
Right, well I'm going to interject now because it's not the
Let's
time
have a
or the
look of
place
disgrace from you.
Mr Algar, I'm going to interject, alright? This is not a time for start
Can you
shouting out.
interject with the gentleman next to you as well then,
Yeah,
please?
well, I'm going to interject with everybody, including you.
Yeah.
This is not the time or place to start discussions of that nature. We all know why we haven't got the laptops. We've all got an opinion of it. The truth of the matter is that we've bought a new one. And I'm going to propose the motion that for £430 is approved for that purchase, and I just need a seconder, please, and then all in favour. And Marguerite, are you
No.
against?
Yes, I am.
Marguerite's against, thank you.
You do these things without it coming to committee for a start off. It should have come to council before you even went and bought it.
Marguerite, that'll do, thank you.
Uh,
So the next is
keys for the,
keys for the. So Councillor Hallsworth very correctly raised the point that the clerk's contact details weren't in the notice board at the cemetery. We then discovered that we couldn't find the key to the notice board. We made some local inquiries. We still can't find the keys. So we bought a new set for
£11.
£11.
That's roughly at the moment.
So I think it was.
Are we going to get them duplicated immediately, so with more than one set of keys?
Yeah, I got them, they arrived today.
Did they?
So,
Are we
and they
gonna-
actually work, I've been tested it.
Are we going to go to Jacqueline Tops to get a spare set?
I can do, I'll get,
And then we've got, in case somebody loses them. Which can happen, is it?
Henry, would you like a set? Because you are the liaison councillor for the allotments, aren't you? Would you like a set of keys for that notice board?
Well, it's up to the persons that want to put something in it.
Okay. So the payment is £11. We're seeking approval for that payment. So I'm going to propose the motion that that is approved. Just need a seconder. All in favour? That's everybody. Thank you. Anything else at all? Not got anything on.
that's the contract.
Was there some YLCA training for you, Jenny, that you were considering?
Yeah, but I think it's another couple of months.
A couple of months away, is it? Okay. If you bring that back then, yeah?
It's £50, that's all.
Okay, well, we'll bring it back nearer the time, yeah. Any other payments for approval we need to consider? No? Okay, right, thank you. So, ED, to consider any outstanding payments. That was introduced because we weren't quite sure what was coming in and going out. I think we've just really done that, so I think for any future agendas that item can be removed because we're pretty much up to speed now, aren't we, with our financial responsibilities. E is to consider payments in and received. Have we received any money at all?
Cemetery, the burial, we've got.
Burial, yeah.
Burial?
And then we've got one outstanding that he's been in touch with.
Is that an outstanding burial?
Outstanding payment that
Right.
he did phone yesterday,
He did he?
yeah.
Okay. Is that something Jenny can follow up, or are you all over that already,
Did I
Jenny?
copy you in? Mr. Bowes?
That's checks.
No, no, his sister had lost it. It had got lost. So I resent it.
Okay, right, thank you. Anything further at all with regards to payments in?
Other than the £60 buyback today, which was the Christmas lights donation to the.
Ah,
Duck.
right. Okay, but that's a community fundraising thing, isn't it? Right, yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, F, to note any updates to challenge of the AGAR 2022-23. Ah, right, yeah, okay. So, the update with regards to the AGAR challenge is that the external auditors came back to the council very soon after we submitted the initial report, and they came back with 12 questions. The 12 questions were fairly specific, but they did require a bit more work to be undertaken from myself and Councillor Green, and we did that work over a couple of weeks. We pulled together another report which essentially answered the 12 questions to the best of our ability. We met as a council on Friday to discuss those 12 questions, and then it was resolved to submit that to the external auditor. The update really is we're just waiting to see what their response to those 12 questions are. In terms of a timetable, I can't really give you any sort of idea of when we're likely to hear anything. They did come back to us fairly quickly after the initial report, but essentially it's still in the hands of the external auditor. That's it in a nutshell, really. Any other comments? No? No? Okay, thank you. Okay, item agenda 128. To receive new correspondence received by the clerk and any action required. And the first, is a new bench request. Okay, that's on the form here, I think, isn't it? Memorial bench, the first item.
Yeah, I've just put on there the email that was sent in
Yeah.
regarding the request. So we've agreed where the bench will go, and it's to replace one that was taken away.
Yeah.
And it really is just trying to agree which preferred supplier to use. So I can now go back to the lady and confirm that.
And Taylor's. And then she makes reference to having spoken to Paul Charles, who I can see is in this evening, about the plaques. Are you able to give us any update with regards to that?
Yeah, it's dealt with.
It's dealt with. Right, thank you. So the plaques are dealt with. They're just asking for a supplier which we can deal with, and then the process of putting it where they've asked will just come under the bench policy. But if they've got any more questions in relation to that, then come back to us, can't they?
Yeah, well the question is, where did they deliver the bench? Where is the bench delivered to? And is there a certain time for delivery? Can we have the original plaques? So that's yeah.
So these are all things that are going to have to be organised by the family that wish to have the bench
The
installed.
The usual process is if it's ordered from tailors in Pickering, then they will, if they're given where to put it, they'll install it
Okay, excellent.
as part of the supply deal.
Okay, happy?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. B is the use of the village by the WI. For those that don't know, this year is the centenary of the Women's Institute that was formed in Thornton Village, and the WI would like to commemorate that centenary with various events throughout the year. And essentially they're just asking for permission to use the green out the front there for a cake and tombola stand during daylight hours on Sunday the 25th of August. As we Parish Council are responsible for said lands, they're just seeking formal approval to use it, so in terms of the legal use and not becoming trespassers.
Can you mean like the last lot?
Quite possibly, Henry, I don't know.
Well, the lights never asked permission to go on it, and they went straight on.
Oh, I see, right. Well, this is about the WI, so the WI want to do it properly. So,
I'll propose.
happy to propose, Rebecca. David going to second. All in favour for the WI to use the green. That was simple enough, wasn't it? Right, thank you. Virgin Media, planned works. John, this is you, isn't it? I see there's a little bit on here, but by the looks of it, Virgin Media want to do quite a lot of works in the parish. And I understand you might have spoken to them.
I've spoken to them. They are coming to the village on Thursday the 14th of March at 10 o'clock. I'm meeting in at the shop, but I think we'll pop down here and just, if any other councillors or anybody who has an interest in hearing what Virgin Media has planned, pop along here Thursday the 14th at 10. And then we'll have some idea of what the proposals actually involve.
Oh, right,
okay. From his letter, he says that they like to use existing infrastructure. And I see Janet's got her hand up. She has more information, I believe.
Janet.
I don't want to preempt what they're going to deal with at parish level, but I did meet with them last week with officers from the IT, and I think it's very, very good news. At the moment, we are getting 100 megabits per second. Virgin Media have a view to get high speed 2,000 megabits per second cable to the premises in every household within Thornton Liddell, which I think is fantastic news. The only exception will be on the Mount, where it's a private road, and unless they get full permission from all residents, then they won't be able to go ahead with that. But it's very good. I thought it might be within the next 2 or 3 years, but actually they're hoping to have the whole thing completed by October this year, and I think it's a fabulous opportunity for the village. So by all means, listen to their views. It will be really interesting, and I'm supportive of it as it stands at the moment.
Right,
I think it's a good news story.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, John, for setting up the meeting, and just echo what Councillor Garbutt said. If anybody would like to pop along, please feel free to do so. Okay. D, laptop purchase. Oh, we've covered that really, haven't we? Unless anybody's got anything. And thank you, Marguerite. The cemetery notice board, we can tick that off. F. Right, questions from Councillor Markham. Marguerite, go ahead.
You want me to read all this out? You've all read it, so you know what my words were. What are you going to do?
Well, we
should have bank balances every month, statements of accounts and everything. We've not had one since Carrie left.
Can someone enlighten us what the questions are? It'd be helpful to us sitting here.
I'm talking about money, Janet. It's nothing to do with you. You're a county councillor, not a village councillor.
Marguerite,
I'm sorry.
I think this is your chance really to respectfully put your questions to the council. We have been provided with them in advance, which is very kind of you to do so. If you just want to go through one by one, we will do our best as a council to answer them. So do you want to start off at question 1? Just read that out and then we'll answer it for you.
Yes, why since October 2023 have neither myself or Councillor Houseworth seen a statement of receipts and payments to date, profit and loss accounts to date, and a balance sheets to date? Right?
Okay, so.
As I say, we used to get them every month.
Okay, now, you say you got them every month. Was that at council meetings?
Yes.
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 Okay. And that hasn't happened since we lost.
Carrie walked out.
Since Carrie walked out. And until January 24, we didn't have a clerk. Since January, Jenny has been working tirelessly to get up to speed. And I dare say these are comments that we can take forward. However, myself and Councillor Green have been interrogating Scribe quite a lot in the past 2-3 weeks to answer the questions from the external auditor, and I can tell you that these documents are available on Scribe.
I can't get into Scribe, and you told me Carrie had given me the code, but Councillor Heatherton has changed the code, so I can't get onto it. And you haven't given me it.
We've checked on that as well, and you do have access to Scribe. If you're struggling to get onto it, Margaret, I'd be more than happy to show you how to do it. But going forwards, the statements and such like will be available. Do you want to go on to question number 2?
Well, you've already discussed that, haven't you?
We'll just read it out and then we can just make sure that you're happy.
I have been approached by a number of residents as to why minutes have not been published on the website. You've gone through that.
Yeah, so there is a statutory obligation to put minutes on the website. The old website we didn't have full access to, because that's the second part of your question, where you've said again the parish council have full access to the website. We don't, and we never have. We have had access to the front page, and we've used that facility to publish things such as the AGAR interim report, but we don't have access to update. Hopefully moving forward with the new website, we will be able to publish standing orders, documents, agendas, and minute. Question 3.
Question 3 was who is the RFO, and then all of a sudden Jenny gets RFO put down next to Clark.
Marguerite, the full question is, who is the RFO? I am assuming that it's yourself, but I would like to clarification as Councillor Heatherton appears to have been taken on the role.
Yeah,
So,
I was referring to Jenny because the email.
so Jenny is the RFO, Marguerite. Councillor Heatherton has never been the RFO, but she was a temporary proper officer, so you might have been getting a bit confused. But Jenny is our RFO. Question 4.
Yeah, for what reason did the parish council cancel the grass cutters contract? What was your reason?
So, the reason for the grass cutters contract is the council on the 6th of February reviewed our tenders and contracts. The reason why we reviewed them is because we as a council had inherited quite a bit of a mess. And when I say it was a bit of a mess, it's probably easier for me to put it into context as to what we did have, what we didn't have. So, the previous parish council had a contract for grass to be cut on the verges and the highways in the village. And that contractor was undertaking that role under a contract. There was another contract for the grass to be cut in the cemetery and the church. That grass cutting was being undertaken by a caretaker.
Yes, and then the caretaker.
And the
resigned,
caretaker-
And then AJ took it over. I know all that. So don't
Marguerite,
go
I'm
through
explaining to the public because
Yeah,
you
no,
raised a very good,
sure.
valid question, and it's important that people understand what happened. The caretaker was a company from Scarborough, wasn't a local chap from Scarborough, and he also had a contract for caretaking. The management and the governance of the caretaker was not up to scratch. The caretaker was putting in irregular invoices and was doing work, additional work, and claiming for it. The council were paying the additional work, and yet there was some suggestion that the invoices and the documentation were not correct. The contract for the grass cutting and the caretaker expired. So the parish council went to the contractor who was cutting the grass verges, and he very kindly took on the extra role and responsibilities. Then there were residents asking for extra areas to be cut. There were places that were being cut that shouldn't be cut, and there were places that weren't being cut because they couldn't be cut. Essentially, the map that denotes where the grass should be cut was completely out of date. Now, everybody knows that contracts are there to safeguard contractors and to safeguard the parish council. You cannot have work being undertaken on an ad hoc, informal basis. Now, whilst the contractor who was doing the grass verges was doing a great job and took on extra responsibilities that weren't in his contract, it creates an atmosphere of ambiguity. Now, a parish council have to consider two things. Grass cutting in this parish is a major expenditure. Apart from the salary of the clerk, it is probably the biggest area of money that this council spends, so we've got to get it right. The second is a parish council, not just this one, but all parish councils have got to demonstrate due diligence when it comes to spending public money. You can't spend public money on ad hoc verbal agreements and such like. It's got to be contractual to safeguard the contractor and the council. Wasn't happening. The challenge to the AGAR, the finances of 2022-2023, included an objection to the way that the caretaker was being administrated. Now, it's important to note that the contractor that was doing the grass verges is not part of the challenge to the AGAR. That gentleman was doing a great job. In fact, he was doing such a good job, and he was doing more and above than he should have been. but he was not protected by a correct contract. So, as I say, on the 6th of February, this council got together to discuss the contracts and tenders, and we resolved as a council, everybody that was present agreed and voted in agreement to sort out the mess. So we've introduced a tender and a contract for the grass cutting of the verges. Now, sadly, in order to do that, we've had to end the contract that was in existence. And that process included communications between myself and the individual, so that contractor had a good idea of what was going on and why it was going on. And we wanted to communicate to him that he'd done nothing wrong. We then introduced another contract and a tender for cutting the grass at the cemetery and the churchyard, and we've introduced another contract and tender for the role of caretaking. Now, you can't just go on the internet and download these contracts and tenders. Our new clerk, Jenny, has been working on this for absolutely weeks, because they're all bespoke, they're all relevant to this parish, and they've all got to be meaningful, because we want to safeguard this council, we want to spend public money in the right way, and we want to protect the contractors that come and do the work. We want the best contractors that we can get, and the best way of getting that is to give them a good contract, so that they come along, they do what is expected of them, and they know they're going to get paid. We cannot have the situation where contractors are not being paid. It was ridiculous. So, I don't want to babble on too much about it. We are just trying to put right things that need to be put right. And that is why we as a council cancelled the grass cutters contract. Any further comment on that? I think I've pretty much covered it. Unless I've got anything wrong. No, right, thank you. Marguerite, question number 5, please.
Forget it, because you're just rabbiting on, so forget it.
Well, question number 5 you ask is, when were these issues brought before the council for resolution? None of the above constitute the need for a closed session. So, to answer your question, Marguerite, they came to council on the 6th of February. That was our last parish council meeting, so that wasn't that long ago. There was a need to go to closed resolution under Standing Order 3D, because the council were discussing contractual matters which involves confidential information. And if you want the agenda item so you can have a look, it's 2324-115B2. Question 6, or do you want me to read that one out as well for you, because it's your last one? So, question 6 that you've written in is, given the above, have any codes of conduct been broken? And I'd like to think no. No codes of conduct have been broken. So that concludes your questions. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Marguerite?
No, carry on.
Okay, thank you. Anything from anybody else at all? No, okay, right. 128G, Scribe. To consider an invoice and the best way forward from Scribe. If I can just deal with the invoice first. Council have received an invoice for £1,166.40 for the use of Scribe. That is broken down into 3 elements. For those that you're aware, Scribe is a computer system that we use for admin. £348 is for the accounts software, £276 is for the cemetery software, and £348 is for the allotment software. So, an expensive invoice. Any comments, please?
How have you found Scribe so far, Jenny?
Yeah, really useful.
Yeah.
Just obviously you can just.
Well, you've got all the information on there, haven't you, for the cemetery and everything, it's on there.
I'll talk about the cemetery. I wouldn't entertain it as far as the cemetery is concerned. It's just a jumbled up mess. I would like all the proper plans back, because the plan that is on the Scribe is just horrendous.
So, yeah, I can confirm that. I think as a whole, Scribe is a good system, and I'm quite pleased we've got it. It's certainly with the accounts side of things. David and I dipped into it. You can upload. I mean, everything is there really, and once you become a little bit skilled in its use and interrogation, it is a good tool to have. I forget when it was, Rebecca, when we did the burials, we went on and we couldn't, for the life of us, find out and interrogate the information that was on the cemetery bolt-on. The allotments I've not really had, but
Well, we've only got 45 allotments. It's not worth having scribe for the allotments. The problem is the setup fee that was originally paid for. It's a lot of money.
But it's set up now.
Well, it is set up,
And that's the thing, isn't it? If you've spent all this money setting it up.
but I still. Have you looked at the cemetery? It's horrendous.
Well, I've had a brief look, but the main one has been the transactions, the payments.
The accounts, yeah.
It's too early to review.
Well, we've got until the 1st of May.
1st of May,
We've got until the 1st of May to.
is it?
I would suggest we give it another couple of months for Jenny to get to grips with it.
Yeah.
More to grips with it. And obviously, there's training involved in it as well, isn't there? There's free training with the system.
Once you've got your new email address, they are waiting. I can set you up on it with their help, so you can have full. Oh, you've got it. Good. We can do it tomorrow.
But to look at the cemetery, all the graves are just jumbled
it's
on
just
top of each
horrible.
other, and there's no way of deciphering where someone's buried in the
I mean, essentially, I think we should keep scribe, essentially. But you're quite right. If we did experience problems, big problems with the cemetery bundle, it wasn't really fit for purpose. But it's a good idea to review it, isn't it? If we're going to review it, we're going to have to look at give Jenny's chance to get her head around it and exploit training avenues, as you say. We can bring it back for discussion, but of course, if we are considering elements being removed, then we need to consider contingency and alternative courses of action. I mean, you picked up on the allotments. Did we get the billing out for the?
This is not due until the 31st of March.
Is it not? Okay, so we've got a bit of time, but it would give out the billing, would it not?
Yeah.
For cemetery, for allotments.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, well, do you want to propose that then, that we review it, David?
Yeah,
I'll second it, and just a quick vote in favour of reviewing the use of scribe system, although in general I think we accept it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Against?
Yes.
Okay.
£300 to run the allotments. Now then you've got £400 for the clerk, so that's 700, and you're going to get 300 for water, that's £1,000.
Aye.
Yeah, it's getting a bit hard.
We can actually take the accounts only. We don't have to have the cemetery and the allotments.
Yeah.
We
Are
don't
they both
have-
together at
We
that?
don't have to have the whole package.
They're add-ons. The cemetery and allotments are add-ons to the financial package.
Well, I don't think you should have your scribe on your allotment. Surely to God, we can send a bill out for 41 allotments.
Well, I think that's the whole idea that we agreed to review it over the
Yeah.
next couple of months. It's not due to the 1st of May, and let's see how we get on. And then we can have a meeting about it then.
And we would welcome your input on that review, Henry, because you do raise a very good point. Right, okay, let's move on then. Sorry? Yeah.
Was it you?
There's an email from,
There is.
Two more emails to deal with on that sheet.
Two more, Marguerite.
Yeah, you've got the one about
Two more.
Bullfield, and then you've
Oh,
got...
so the Bullfield will be in the closed session.
Oh.
And then Parish Council. Okay. So there's one more item for correspondence received by the clerk, and that is an email from Mr. Olga.
GDPR.
Okay,
Mr. Barrett, GDPR. I don't mind my name being used,
Oh, you
but
don't?
you shouldn't have used it.
Okay,
I
right.
hopefully you will report to the monitoring officer that you've done that.
Okay, David, will do.
If you don't, I will.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Well, to be quite frank with you, I didn't for 1 minute think that you would object me
I didn't, but it's
answering
the
a
procedure.
question from you.
It's procedure.
Right, okay. So I'm going to ask you now, do you want me to deal with this or do you want me to defer it to another time?
That's entirely up to you.
Okay, well, I'd prefer to do it now.
Okay.
I don't, you see, this GDPR thing is kind of, we invite members of the public to engage and communicate with their parish council because we're merely representatives. But in order for people to insist upon anonymity, kind of defers the whole process, really, doesn't it?
Well, let's just get on with the letter.
But I'll get, and it's a long-winded email. Okay, it's a long-winded email, and I've kind of tried to pick out your questions from it. I was a bit disappointed. Kind of let yourself down a little bit with the use of language, in all honesty. But I think what you're asking for is very similar question to the one that was raised by Councillor Markham, in as much as
Can we just read the letter so the residents know what was in the letter?
well,
Rather than you skipping through it.
what, you want me to read the email in
Yes,
its
read the
entirety?
email in
Well,
its
I'd have to go to
entirety.
Mr Algar and see if he's got any objections to that, because I've just said that the content is quite inflammatory and in part disrespectful. But if you're happy for me to read it,
I have no problem at all.
okay, well, I'll read it out then. Got time. And then I'll try and deal with your questions that you raise.
If you want to put the answers separately in writing to me, I don't mind to save time.
Okay, well, we'll do that then. I won't read it out and I'll respond to you in writing. That's fine, thank you. Okay, so moving on then. I've lost my agenda. I think we're going to move to closed session, aren't we? So we've reached the closed session part of the agenda, ladies and gentlemen. Really, it's because we wish to discuss tenders and contractual stuff of a confidential nature. I don't know where Henry's going, but I'm going to propose. I suppose it would be better for me just to wait for him to come back so we can participate, because we're going to have a vote, aren't we? So if I just outline, we've got 4 items to raise in a closed session. They are all contractual and confidential. One is the Bullfields tender, one is the tenders with regards to grass cutting and caretakering at the churchyard and the cemetery. One is for allotments and one is for the Barclays updates, really, which we've kind of touched upon already. But as I say, they are of a confidential nature, and Standing Order 3D allows us to exclude members of the public, but I've got to propose a motion to do so, and that motion's got to go to a vote. And as all members of the council are here, apart from Henry, who's gone for a week, I'll wait for him to get back so he can participate in the vote. But thank you very much for coming this evening. Hopefully we won't be too much later. The date for the next meeting is the 2nd of April, and I'd invite you all to return. Thank you very much. Cheers, thank you.
No, hang on.
Oh,
We
go on,
haven't
Rebecca.
done matters
1, 2, what?
129.
Oh, matters for inclusion on future agendas.
Yes.
I tried to do that as we went through, really,
Oh, that's
just to
fine.
sort of bring stuff back, unless there's anything that anybody else wants adding to the next agenda. But again, we'd have to wait.
Do you think we ought to put the parish plan on the agenda?
Yeah, well, we can do. Yeah, parish plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. In terms of just the way forward, really. Yeah, anything from anybody else? No? If anybody would like to get involved in the workings of the parish plan, it's another opportunity to come and engage with parish council. Are you hiding in the corner?
I'm hiding.
We kind of touched on it before really, and it's an important document. We're very lucky in that Jenny has just completed one for the parish at Lopton, and the format looks really good, and I'd encourage you all to go on the internet and have a look at it. But it does set a course sort of into the future for the parish council, and it will kind of direct where your money is spent. All right, have you got anything for the next agenda at all, Henry? Well, anything that you wish the council to discuss, consider?
Waste of time.
Waste of time, okay. All right, well, the motion then is to exclude members of the public so that we can discuss this confidential nature. Just need a seconder for that. And then all in favour, please. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming.